So, namaste and vanakkam to all of you. So, please confirm that you're all there for the class. So, today we will continue with strategic analysis of operating profit. There was almost a week's gap we had for the last class to this class. And let us just kickstart for this week. So before I could proceed for a particular problem to be carried out, so let me go through problem number 2, which I have given as an assignment. Some of them did try, and most of them I just left it. And one of our friends said it took long time for him to understand. So now let us just go through problem number 2 and find out as what is the final answer so that we can cross it here, please. Then we will take up something to do with activity-based costing, activity-based budgeting, and product profitability analysis. There is another area that we do have chapter number 10 of new syllabus. And for whole syllabus also, this activity-based costing is very much there. So therefore, we will cover for both. Cinder Corporation is a small information system consulting firm that specializes in helping companies implement sales management software. The market for Cinder's product is very competitive. To compete, Cinder must deliver quality service at a low cost. Cinder bills clients in terms of units performed, which depends on the size and complexity of the sales management system. Snyder represents the following data for the year 1920. Units work performed, selling price, software implementation labor hours, cost per software implementation labor hour, software implementation support capacity, total cost of software implementation support, software implementation support cost per unit, then number of employees doing software development, total software development cost per employee, software implementation labor hours or variable cost, software implementation support cost for each year depend on the software implementation support capacity defined in terms of units of work that Snyder chooses to maintain each year. It does not vary with the actual units of work performed that year. At the start of each year, management uses its discretion to determine the number of software development employees. The software development cost, staff and cost have no direct relationship with the number of units performed. Analyze Snyder's corporation strategy as one of product differentiation of cost leadership. Describe briefly key elements that would include in Snyder's balance scorecard and the reason for doing so. Calculate the operating income of these 2 years. Calculate the growth recovery. So this problem goes for a long length actually. It goes to the next page up to 8 points that we have. See, we understand that balance scorecard is not only item. There is not an item applicable only for manufacturing setup. It is even applicable even for service industry. So on the other day, I told you for the first question, one of product differentiation, because of the uniqueness of the product or the service, you can charge a little greater. Whereas if the products are similar and where you find almost competitors are very many, and when you are living in a competitive market, then cost leadership would mean the reduction in cost will generate greater amount of profit. So by going through the problem, we can understand as whether it is a unique product differentiation, or cost competitiveness or cost leadership. So now let us just go through that problem. Where in the second line they mention the market of Schneider's product is very competitive and to compete must deliver quality service at low cost. So this is an indicator that how we need to answer for the first part of the question. So you have answer in the question itself. So the problem where you have to tell that strategy is that of cost leadership and not product differentiation. Okay. Now I will tell you the answers. So first part of the question I have answered. Strategy is cost relationship, the cost leadership, product not distinct from competitor, market is competitive and must deliver quality service at low cost, improve productivity and maintain quality. So these are the things that you are touching upon and describe key elements that you would consider balanced scorecard, and your reasons for being so. So on the other day, it's a balanced scorecard for which there are 4 perspectives that you would be having. What are the 4 perspectives that you would be having? One is finance perspective, customer perspective, internal business process perspective, and learning and growth perspective. So I told you that theory for this question is common for almost all the questions in this particular topic. So you should go a little more prepared. Operating income as how it is to be done. Unit performed as 60 and selling price being 50,000, there 17 to 48,000 you can get the revenue. What are the associated costs? So you can find out software labor hours 30,000, rate being 30. So you have to multiply these two to arrive at labor cost which is variable. Then as far as capacity is concerned, capacity cost is a fixed cost 90 into 3,60,000. Sorry, 3,60,000 divided by 90 is 4,000. So it is 90 into 4,000, that is giving me 3,60,000 fixed cost. And software development cost is 3,70,000, which is variable 3 into 1,25,000. That's the way you are just getting. So there are 3 costs, sum of the cost and deduct from the revenue, so as to arrive at the profit. The answer to the third part of the question. So let me give you the final answer. It is 4,65,000. So this is for question number 2, 3. 2 bar 3. We have operating profit for 2019 and for 2020. For 2019, it is 4.65 lakhs and it is 5.85 lakhs. Correct. So make note of the answer. As far as growth recovery, growth, price recovery, and productivity that we explained is that this is 2.4. Growth in that revenue comes for 5 lakhs. Growth in cost, we have labor cost 3 lakhs adverse. Of course, this one being favorable. And as far as support is concerned, it is nil. And development cost, which is also nil. Total cost is 3 lakhs adverse. The net of that is 2 lakhs favorable. Then summary you can easily develop. For price recovery, revenue accounts for 1,40,000 adverse. Then comes cost, under that labor 1,05,000 adverse. I am giving you the final answer, I am not providing the solution. Then comes support cost 9,000 adverse. Very quickly we will engage ourselves to ABC, development cost 15,000 adverse. 1,29,000 adverse. As far as productivity is concerned, so bring out a summary of that. In productivity, you don't have Revenue has got no rule, not applicable. As far as cost labor is concerned, it is 1,89,000 favorable. And for support, nil, and development nil, it is 1,89,000 favorable. So then you are expected to bring out the commentary and we just complete the remaining portion. Okay. So the remaining portion I will share through WhatsApp. Now let me just talk something about activity-based costing. Say, I forgotten to share the Windows journal, so please just I totally forgot. So now let us just take up something about activity-based costing. What is activity-based costing? Say for this, I will narrate one incident, then you can easily understand as how or what exactly this activity-based costing is all about. Some people would have had introduction at intermediate level or PE2 level or IPC or PCE level and IPCC level, and now maybe intermediate. So sometimes we had this activity-based costing at intermediate level. In some cases, we were not having it. That is, in earlier cases, we are not having it at all. So for those who have missed this activity-based costing, I will take up briefly an example so that you can easily understand what exactly is activity-based costing. Say in the final year of my GCOM, we had one outing by final year students. I do not know what is the name which we call that. So it was an outing somewhere in Muttukar, outskirts of Chennai, where that particular section students will take even professors also, and we'll have some fun there. And that day there may be a dinner or something like that. I remember there were two such programs we had. One organized in a hotel where we were paying respects to our professors, and we were the host and they were the guests. Once again, they used to talk about what is life and how you're going to behave and all that. And what is this new relationship coming into your life as how you're going to behave, all that stuff, standard stuff. So for them, it is like a marketing man talking. For us, it will be something new we will try to pick up. All that was nice, but how they were organized was not that great. So we were some 80 plus in our section, but not all 80 could come. Some 60 people could come. And they totaled all expenditure divided by number of people. And they said, this is what we have got to pay. Some of them paid earlier, some of them paid later. So in that, what initially they have indicated that they have to pay 5 rupees or so per head. Later on, they have changed it to 7 rupees and 10 paisa. there was 2 rupees and 10 paisa increase was there. Because of my articleship, I could not come to the colleges on regular basis. The day on which they have announced, I was not there. I could not just pay that money on that day. However, I promised that I will pay because I did not have the money on that day. Okay, so 7 rupees and 10 paisa, but I heard it was 5 rupees on an earlier occasion. Though I attended that meeting, I did not pay. I said I will pay the next day. Because from client's office I came to that particular program and I did not have adequate amount of money. I said I will pay later. Next day, when I heard that it was 7 rupees and 10 paisa, I said how it could be 7 rupees and 10 paisa. Please give me accounts. Then one of them who was organizing the work was abusing me, saying that how dare I can ask that breakup of cost when others have paid without asking. Then I was just telling them very clearly that 7 rupees and 10 paisa is not the cost per head. Then one of them was just telling that total expenditure divided by number of people should be the price. This is the total expenditure and this many people attended, so therefore you have to pay this much. Then I was just telling them very clearly that certain things I have not consumed at all. Why should I bear that cost? You understand what I'm telling? Some of my friends, that point of time itself, were drinkers. In that meeting, they were secretly drinking and took some non-rich stuff also. That is also included in the total cost. So when I did not consume liquor or non-vegetarian, why would I pay for that? Was my question. But those people who are telling that and all, we do not know, total expenditure divided by number of people should be the price. I said I consume only this much vegetarian stuff, and for one plate meal is so much, and rent for all that can be divided by all. So therefore, give me the account. I will pay only to the extent of what I have cost to the company, cost to the group is what I say. Then the person who organized abused me by telling about my community and all that. I said there is nothing on the community you can speak logically. Then another person in the organizing group was just telling it is very difficult to segregate. I said I knew all of them who have come and I know what and all they have taken. Please give me the information is what I told. So all the information I got it, and so much liquor, so much non-vegetarian, so much is the rent, and so much for vegetarian. When I started distributing based on the information I gathered, because you may not be remembering who took how much, but with all the friends around, we could easily sense, and we were having photographs also. From the photograph, we recalled all the incidents and events, and thereby we have identified this is the item of meal, whereas one person took 2 meals. He is avaricious towards food. So therefore, we have charged him 2 meals for him. And this way, every person in the group was debited only for the cost that he cost to the group. Only to the extent that he attributed the cost to the group, only we have charged. So in that process, I took only 1 plate meal and the rental expenses, and maybe that bus in which we were carried to that particular place. Those items only I have taken. It came to 3 rupees and 90 paisa. How much? 3 rupees and 90 paisa only against my name. Those who have consumed so much of liquor and so much of non-vegetarian, they got to pay some 10 rupees and 11 rupees and all that, whereas we could pay 3 rupees and 90 paisa. All the money got recovered. Those who have paid 5 rupees earlier, they were given with the refund of 1 rupee and 10 paisa because we could collect from those who have taken greater amount of cost of the group. We have recovered so much of greater sum of money. I was doing CA final by then, but I did not know anything about activity-based costing. This particular exercise what I've done when I was in the final BCom final is the one I could just see in activity-based costing. So in the case of a traditional overhead distribution system, we used to have 5 steps taken. Those 5 steps are, we are expected to classify, firstly we have to collect, then we have to classify, then we have got to allocate, then we have got to apportion, and lastly absorption. There were 5 steps in traditional system. In traditional system, we are expected to collect information, that is cost, then classify the cost and allocate the cost, then apportion the cost, and absorb the cost. Absorb means recover. These are the 5 steps that we used to have in overhead distribution. So we call the first one as primary distribution. Distributing service department overheads to production department, we call that as apportionment. And having done that apportionment, we will total up the overheads only against production department to be absorbed based on number of units, number of labor hours, based on direct material and machine hours and so on. So these are the 5 steps that we used to take up in the case of traditional costing system and in the case of activity-based costing. We cannot be dividing the total overheads by number of units. One cannot be dividing the total number of total overheads by number of units. One cannot do that. Why we can't do like that is that if I am one of the products, when I am not using that facility, which has cost something to the organization, why should I absorb that cost into my total cost? When organization is incurring some expenditure which is not related to the manufacturing of a product, say A, why would all that cost to be attributed to that particular product, which is senseless, which has got no logic at all? So therefore, in activity-based costing, we don't classify as variable and fixed. All are variable only. In the case of activity-based costing, they say all are variable. There is nothing called as fixed. There is philosophically also we can say there is nothing which is permanent in this world. That means there is nothing fixed. Everything is variable. So people will then be asking the question, sir, in traditional costing system we say fixed cost and all that. So we would say there is no fixed cost at all. So how do we say that there is no fixed cost? So all those fixed costs that people were referring to got terribly hit in Corona times. What is that? Rental payment. Rental payment is fixed, but it got the hit. Why? You just find landlord cannot enforce recovery of rent from the tenant because tenant has got no income at all. You cannot enforce. Same way for salary. What is that? Employers are finding it difficult to pay salary because they are not poor. From where they would pay? So therefore, nothing in this world is permanent. Nothing in this world is fixed. This is the philosophy of activity-based costing. Then, what is it they want to say? If employees were asked to work 10 hours instead of 8 hours, definitely they will be asking for greater salary. Then the concept of saying salary being fixed is defeated. It is no longer valid. Similarly, when you find the salary, same salary you take up for 25 days in a week, 25 days in a month, you say this much of salary because of the loss of time during Corona period. When you ask the employees to come for all the 30 days, definitely they will be asking for greater salary than 25 days salary. So when you increase the number of days, when you increase the number of hours, automatically they will become variable. The concept of calling salary as variable is not at all a valid thing. Same way, when you just find Many such things when you were believing that they're all fixed. In fact, they're all variable only. So this is what activity-based costing is all coming. That is communicating. When a particular product has not consumed on a particular facility, the cost of that facility cannot be loaded on that particular product. Then what is that we should do? We should have a detailed analysis of which product has consumed which resource and at what quantity, and we are expected to book cost based on that particular rate. Therefore, we are having 6 steps. What are the 6 steps that we have in the case of activity-based costing? Firstly, we should identify what is the activity. What activity triggers the cost? What activity is triggering the cost? So, please just understand, firstly, we are expected to identify what is the activity. Then, construction of cost pool. Construction of cost pool. What do you mean by construction of cost pool? A particular activity will trigger the cost, and we are expected to total up all the costs. Like how do we say as collect? Same way we will put it out here as cost pool. Then identify cost driver. Identify cost driver. This is something similar to that of in operating costing at intermediate we used to have passenger kilometers. The denominator factor that you are having, no, that is the one that we are talking about as what is the cost driver. So as far as the heat is concerned, heat, H-E-A-T, heat is concerned, it can be measured in terms of terms. The distance can be measured in terms of miles, kilometers, feet, etc. That way, the expenditure should be connected with a cost driver, that is a denominator factor. Then identify cost driver quantity. So when I say terms, you have to find out what is the total of terms. When you find out the passenger kilometers, here you have to find out total number of passenger kilometers. Identify cost driver quantity. Then find out cost driver quantity rate. How do we find out? If you consider all this in the form of steps, step number 5 is nothing but 2 divided by 4. 5 is equal to 2 divided by 4. That should give you cost driver quantity rate. Then 6th item, allocate overheads based on consumption of cost driver quantity. So if I have consumed 2 plate meals, then I should be booked with 2 plate meals cost. That is the way cost should be allocated. One cannot be taking up the total cost and divide by number of units. When I am not at all contributed towards the cost, when I have not cost anything in the total cost of the product, why should I bear that particular expenditure? So, more logical way of doing things is through activity-based costing. So, do not forget about these 6 steps: activity, cost pool, identify cost driver, identify cost driver quantity, find out cost driver quantity rate, and lastly, allocate based on consumption of CDQ. Now, of this particular material which I have sent you on the other day, I would like to take up firstly question number 12. Question number 12. Based on that, there are a lot of problems that we have on active. There is based on the knowledge of ABC, we are going to take up other problems. That is the reason as why I inducted problem number 12 there. Problem number 12. So now let us just take up on to ABC retail product line profitability. Family supermarkets decides to apply ABC analysis to three product lines: baked foods, milk and fruit, and juice, and lastly frozen foods. It identifies four activities and activity cost rates for each activity is given below: ordering, delivery, and receipt, shelf stocking, customer support and assistance, and the revenue and cost of goods sold, store support cost, and activity area use and usage of the three product lines are given below. Revenue, cost of goods sold, stores support, activity area allocation based, ordering, delivering, shelf stocking, customer support. Under the previous costing system, FS allocated support cost to products at the rate of 30% of cost of goods sold. Prepare using previous costing a product line profitability report for FS. Prepare using the ABC system a product line profitability report for FS. Interpret the new insights does the ABC system in requirement to provide to FS managers. Now let us just take up one by one the requirements of this problem. Question number 12, page number 6. Traditional costing system. The profitability statement they want: baked foods, milk and fruit juice, and frozen products. Revenue 57,000, 63,000, and 52,000. Then cost of goods sold 38,000, 47,000, and 35,000. Then overhead cost at the rate of 30% of cost of goods sold. So at the rate of 30% of cost of goods sold is on 38,000. Apply 30%, you get 11,400, which is given in the problem. 47,000 into 0.3, 14,100. 35,000 into 0.3, that comes to 10,500. Profit is the balancing figure. So 57,000 minus 38,000 minus 11,400, that should give you profit of 7,600, balancing figure. 63,000 minus 47,000 minus 14,100, 1,900 as a balancing figure. 52,000 minus 35,000 minus 10,500, that should give you 6,500. This is the profit that you have made. Prepare using a product line profitability, and possibly in order to get profit on revenue, you can say 7,600 upon 57,000 in profit. 7,600 divided by 57,000, that should give you 13.33%. Always remember, in this chapter number 10, strategic analysis of operating profit, we are expected to do a lot of interpretation, and interpretation will be based on percentage, and that is what we have just taken up. 9,900 divided by 63,000, that should give you 3.02%. 6,500 divided by 52,000, it is 12.5%. 6,500 divided by 52,000 in percentage, 12.5. So one more thing also we are expected to do. we shall just total up the entire sale 172, 7,600 plus 1,900 plus 6,500, that comes as 16,000 divided by 178 percentage, that comes to 9.30 percentage. Okay, so for analysis purposes, it will be of great help to us. To activity based costing. In activity based costing, here overheads are taken up based on the consumption of the cost driven quantity. So the first item that we have is ordering cost is 100 per order. The number of orders that you have is 30. So therefore, ordering cost at the rate of rupees 100. So 100 into 30, 3,000, 2,500 and 1,300. Next item, delivery cost. Delivery cost at the rate of 80. So how this number at this come is 30 into 100. Here it is 98 into 80. $7,840. Next item, shelf stocking, whose rate is 20 per hour. So 183 into 20. 3,660. Then customer support 15,500 into 20 paisa. 3,100. So we are expected to arrive at the profit. How do we arrive at the profit? 57,000 minus 38,000 minus 3,000 minus 7,840 minus 3,660 minus 3,100. That should give you 1,400. So 1,400 divided by 57,000 in percentage, that comes to 2.46 percentage net profit ratio. This way you are expected to arrive at for other items and bring out your interpretation. Are you understanding, all of you? So just to start this process, I took the simplest ever problem and we are expected to complete for other lines. The idea behind this crash course is not to solve the problem bit by bit. You will give the idea, knowledge, and the rest of which you are expected to try of your own. I hope that you people can try the remaining and bring out your interpretation. So look into the institute suggested answer. What they mentioned is they are not awarding marks based on the ones that they have as the base. You may have a different analysis which is not given in the guideline answers, but the examiners are instructed to award marks based on a logical deduction, logical way of bringing out your analysis. That is what they are looking into as the solution and not the computation. So computation is also important, but interpretation is a little more important. So to bring out a good interpretation, computation is also necessary. But concentration is more on interpretation, is what I am trying to say. Okay, so therefore, I am just leaving this particular problem for you to try. Now, I would like to take up, for the purpose of discussion, question number 11. Question number 11, page number 6. Golden East Limited is a hop manufacturing company doing business through wholesalers and retailers. The company is following activity-based costing system. Average cost per hop is 600 and the listed price is 1000. But hops are sold at a discount of 25% on listed price on orders for about 200 units and at a discount of 20% on order for 200 units or less. The company wants to analyze the profitability of two of its wholesale customers, A and B, and two of its retail customers, X and Y, on the basis of the business with them during last year. This is to explore the opportunities to increase the profitability from the customers. The relevant data pertaining to the last year are number of purchase orders, number of hops purchased, and number of visits to customers' place, number of ordinary deliveries, and number of speed deliveries, activity, cost driver, and the rate are as follows. Evaluate the customer profitability by calculating the profit per hop for each customer. Recommend steps to be taken to improve profitability from less profitable customers. List down the service organization for which customer profitability analysis is useful. Explain the specific benefits of customer profitability analysis. So please just understand that there is a big shift from a traditional way of looking into the subject matter with a modern costing concept. So therefore, I would consider, even if it is there as an exclusive topic in new syllabus, old syllabus students need to have for the sake of knowledge and can use it practically in the workplace or in your profession that you are going to take up. Now let us just try this. How do we go about? Say number of purchase orders 50, number of hops purchased per order is 500. Multiplication of these two is going to be the total number of units. So indirectly that piece of information is provided to you, and I would like to try this through Excel. Now let us just bring out our analysis. That is firstly computation and analysis. To some extent, I will help you out because analysis cannot be stereotyped, but you can have a broad area of focus regarding your analysis. Now let us just try. First, working notes, customers A, B, X, and Y. Number of orders 50, 65, 230, and 270. Units per order. Units per order is 500, 300, 40, and 30. Total quantity total number of units Right. So this will enable us to find out the profitability this way. Product, customer, profit analysis, profitability analysis. Customers are A, B, X, and Y. Selling price 1000. So the listed price is 1000. Instead of calling it a selling price, listed price. Listed price, discount. So when the order is 200 and above, discount rate, in this case 25%, because the quantity that they have ordered is 500 per order. They mentioned it very clearly that 25% when the number of orders were to be 200 and above 200, and 200 or less, 20%. In this case, 20%, and here also 20%, because number of quantity that they order each time is only 40 and 30. Discount amount. Net selling price 1000 minus this. So what is the cost price? Cost price of this item is 600. Gross profit. Okay. So now let us just take up the revenue. Number of units. Net selling price into number of units. Cost price for goods sold. 23,000 multiplied by 600. Gross profit. This is a gross profit we have got. Now we are expected to take up other costs through ABC. Overheads allocated using activity-based costing. That way, order processing at the rate of rupees 1300. So you can easily identify how many orders A had placed. 1300 multiplied by. Look into that table. What they given in the problem. Number of purchase orders being 50. Number of purchase orders being 50. Equal to 65 into 1300. 1300 into 230. 1300 into 270. Next, customer visit. Hello. Good morning. Hello, sir. பார்த்தேன் சார் நான் வந்து கண்டிப்பா சார் கண்டிப்பா கண்டிப்பா ப்ளீஸ் கண்டிப்பா கண்டிப்பா கஸ்டமர் விசிட் காஸ்ட் at the rate of 7,400. So number of customer visit is given. It is number of customer visit 10. So 74,000, 7,400 into 10. 7,400 into 15. 25 into 7,400. Next, 22 into 7,400. Next comes ordinary deliveries. Cost of ordinary deliveries at the rate of rupees 2,000. The number of ordinary deliveries you know as 45. So 45 into 2,000. Then 50 into 2,000. 175 into 2,000 equal to 200 into 2,000. Then cost of speed deliveries at the rate of rupees 6,000. 5 into 6,000. 15 into 6,000. 50 into 6,000. 65 into 6,000. So we have taken up all the items of cost. So now what we are expected to do is net profit is nothing but 3 lakh and 35 lakhs 50,000 minus sum of this overheads allocated on activity based costing. Then importantly, net profit ratio we are expected to arrive at. This net profit shall be divided by sale value. 19%, 17%, 10%, and 5%. So evaluate the customer profitability by calculating profit per hog of each customer. So profit per unit. This is to be divided by the number of units that we have worked. So first part of the question over. Evaluate the customer profitability by calculating the profit per hog for each customer. That we got it. Recommend steps to be taken for improving profitability for less profitable customers. So now here is a place you are expected to bring out your own analysis. You can find out the percentage of cost and all that. You can work out some amount of analysis. I will just tell you as how you are going to go about. So the total ordering cost is almost 8 lakhs. So you can interpret through your own analysis ordering costing percentage. This is 65,000 divided by the total expenditure that they have just made. In percentage you express. Next item, ordering cost. Customer visit cost in percentage. This is 74,000, which shall be divided by this one. Delivery normal cost. 90,000 divided by 9,40,000. Speed delivery cost. So now you can consider very clearly an analysis that you can make that ordering cost is maximum in the case of Y, and the net profit ratio is the lowest in the case of Y. So therefore, one should not offer 20% discount to these people because it is not worth picking up that order. You just find by retailing them, you are just getting only 5% return on the sales. And the reason for that is the number of orders that they are making each time is only 30 on an average in the case of Y. Because of the fact that they are ordering only 30 units each time, and you find the greatest number of orders coming only from Y. Greatest number of orders. One cannot be rating customer A's order of one order being 500 units with that of Y ordering only 30 units per order. You cannot be distributing the cost based on the order. So therefore, whatever I am telling is only suggestion that you have got to make. The company has got to bring out one policy on the number of orders that they got to take it up. Minimum order should be 100. That sort of discipline only will enable them to cut down the number of ordering costs, and they can also cut down the discount rates from 20% to 10%. These are all suggestions, and these suggestions may not be there in the institute material, but they may be a valid suggestion. So therefore, don't try to copy what is there in the institute study material as solution in the examination condition, because the problems will be 100 in numbers. Somewhere in the original source, they pick one problem and give it to you. And what suggestion they have given in that text, one cannot visualize. But what is logical, one can visualize. And that's the way you can express your answer. So you would find speed delivery. See, there should always be some logic in incurring the cost. You would have seen even in medical shop also, home delivery is possible only when the value of the order is rupees 200 minimum. If I am asking analyzing or some medicine which is worth only 3 rupees, delivery cost will be greater than the profit the company would be making. So definitely there should be some logical analysis that we are going to bring in and keep a minimum quantity in the order as 100, only then speed delivery can be taken up. So speed delivery is almost second highest cost, that being 6,000. And such a number of speed delivery which were demanded by customer Y is on the highest side, 65. The worst of the entire scenario is customer Y. Though customer is the king or God, whatever you say, but definitely look into the number of orders, and each order size. Each order size is only 30, and 65 times of that they expected speed delivery. So I will take lesser quantity per each order, and number of times I ask for speed delivery is also on the higher side. So therefore, it will not be profitable for the company to continue like this, and therefore the focus should be shifted from retail to wholesale. Okay, and even if they want to continue with some retail, there should be some correction that they want to incorporate. So this is the simple analysis that we can make about in the case of problem number 11. Now let us just take up with some more problems. It is problem number 7, which is there in page number 4. Problem number 7. Profitability analysis. ABC Airlines has two divisions organized as profit center. The passenger division and the cargo division. The following divisional information are given for the year ending 31st of March 2019. Number of personnel trained, number of flights, number of reservations requested, revenue, operating expenses excluding service department charges. Service department charges are training and flight scheduling. And one more cost is also there, which they are not printed in the institute study material, that being reservation cost of 2,10,000. Reservation cost of 2,10,000 is missing. The service department charge rate for the service department cost are based on revenue. Since the revenue of both the divisions were the same, the service department charges to each division are also same. That is, the way in which they have allocated 6,40,000, where the revenue in these two cases being 42 lakhs each, so they have distributed on this basis. This is a traditional basis. They have got some basis on which they have distributed, whether it is logical or not, that we have to check up and work. Then comment on whether the income from operation of the two divisions accurately measuring the performance. Answer will never be in the positive. We have to say that it is not correct. So now let us just know as how to proceed. So if training were to be considered as an item of expenditure, to whom the training is given, we firstly we have to think. Only to workers. Workers we mean personnel. So cargo division has got only 200, passenger division has got 800. So now tell me on what basis this 6 lakhs and 40,000 should get distributed. That should be getting distributed in the ratio of 200 is to 800. That is 1 is to 4. That could be an ideal list. That is the way you have got to take it up. Then flight scheduling, that should be based on the number of flights handled in each of these cases, 350 and 250, and that's the way 3 lakhs will get distributed. As far as flight schedule, there is reservation cost is concerned, that is all based on passenger only. Though that piece of information is not given in the problem, we are expected to take up that and work it. Okay. So now let us just take up in Excel once again this computation. Now let us just try this. So profit statement under ABC. Cargo and passenger. Revenue 42 lakhs. Next one is also 42 lakhs. And the total. Next item is operating expenditure. $36 lakhs and 28 lakhs and 40,000. Gross profit then overheads distributed based on activity based costing. First item is towards training. Training cost is 8 lakhs into 200 divided by 800. Sorry, not 8 lakhs, 6 lakhs 40. Six lakhs 40,000. Next is this into 4. So then this is not that. This is based on 1,000. Right. Flight scheduling. Flight scheduling cost is 3 lakhs multiplied by 350 divided by 600. Similarly, 3 lakhs multiplied by 250 divided by 600. So 3 lakhs. Then reservation cost. They have forgotten to type 0. Reservation is applicable only for passenger. The entire 2 lakh and 10,000. This is missing in the question. So now I am taking it up. net profit, gross profit minus overheads. Net profit ratio. So we understand that divisional income statement using that, and we are expected to comment based on this. So commenting is more logical than there is logical and analytical skills are required rather than uh, making our focus on computational skills. But computation is also required. Is that clear, all of you? So now, from this morning, we have just tried problem number 11, problem number 12, and problem number 2 also we have tried, and problem number 7. So 3 problems you have done. We would like to take up on to problem number 6. Problem number 6 we will take up. So these problems might appear in your main examination. So mark them as very important. So just don't simply ignore it. Please give importance to this. $612 is an Indian-Japanese international chain of convenience stores for food, snacks, hot and cold beverages. It is formulating its activity-based budget for January 2019. 612 is the name of the entity, has only 3 products like soft drinks, fresh drinks, and ready-to-eat food. The budgeted data to 3 products are as under activity and the driver, cost driver rates, and January 2019 budgeted. They are given actual and budget and amount of driver used. They are given in the last 3 columns. 612 as continuous improvement system to budgeting monthly activity cost for each month of 2019. February's budgeted cost driver is 0.996 times the budgeted January 2019 rate. March budget cost driver is 0.996 times the budgeted February 2019 rate, and so on. That is, it is an item. So compute total budgeted cost for each activity in January 2019. Discuss advantages might 612 gain by using activity-based budgeting approach over, say, an approach that allocates the cost of these activities to products as a percentage of cost of goods sold. Compute the total budgeted cost for each activity in March 2019 with March 19 as the same budgeted cost driver usage as January 2019. State benefits of 612 adopting Kaizen budgeting approach, identify the limitations. See, now let us just shift our focus on to the problem solving area. Then focus on the analytical areas. So let us just understand what exactly is the requirement of this problem. They are asking us to firstly prepare January 2019 budget. How we would approach this particular problem. So like how we do ABC costing, same way we are going to do. Instead of finding out the actual rate, here budgeted rate is given in the previous page. And that should be multiplied by the expected consumption of cost driven quantity, and that's the way the budgeted cost is to be arrived at. Budgeted cost can be arrived at based on that. soft drinks, fresh drinks, then ready to eat. There are three products we have. Ordering cost. There is no revenue, there is no cost of goods sold. Here we are expected to take into consideration. So firstly I will put this way. CDQ consumed. I will simply copy what is there in the problem and then tell you as how working should be improved. Delivery 13, 60 and 20. Shelf stocking 15, 170 and 92. Customer support 10, 4,500, 34,600 and 10,500. Okay. Now the CDQ rate. CDQ rates are 4,500, 4,100, 1,050 and 90. Now let us just arrive at the budgeted cost. Budgeted overhead for the month of January 2019. Ordering cost, delivery cost, and shelf stocking and customer support. Now, how do we arrive at this? This is nothing but 4,500 multiplied by 16. It is 4,100 multiplied by 13. Here it is 1,050 multiplied by 15. Next, 9 multiplied by 4,500. So overall overheads is this. So this is the way we are expected to crack the first part of the question. Look into the question. Compute the budgeted cost for each activity in January 2019. Discuss advantage of activity-based budgeting. So whatever we just do in the case of activity-based costing, that will be taken up as advantage. That we got to do. So don't expect me to explain in a crash course advantage of activity-based costing. It is highly logical. Then compute the total budgeted cost for each activity in March 19. If March 19 has the same budgeted amount of cost driver usage, that means how many number of units that we have taken up for consumption in the month of January for preparing budget. Same thing we would be expecting. But thing is that they are asking us to prepare budgeted overheads for the month of March 2019. So if that be the case, how do we arrive at this budget? These numbers, I mean 72,000 here will be multiplied by 0.996 times of budget. But Between January to March, there are 2 years, sorry, 2 months. So you have to do this 2 times. So to the power 2, comma 0, so as to find out the ordering cost of that. Correct? And same way, we expect in each case also. Same way, we expect in the total also. So this is what in question number 3 they were talking about. Compute total budgeted cost for each activity in March 2019. If March 2019 has the same budgeted amount of customer driven usage, CDQ quantity consumption, and Kaizen budgeting. So that is, you read the theory. See, please just understand one important thing that you should remember is that teaching theory is not a problem, but that when you read off the own, it will take lesser amount of time, and we will not take up that matter for discussion in a classroom. Okay. So question number 6, that way it's getting over. And now let us just take up on to question number 4, page number 3. Question number 4, whether we have already done it, please just confirm this. I think we have already done. So now we will take up on to question number 5. Question number 5 we will take up. Queenstone Furniture QF manufactures high quality wooden doors within the forecast of Queenstone since 1952. Management is having emphasis on creativity, engineering, innovation, and experience to provide customers with the door they desire, whether it is a standard design or one of a kind customer door. The following information pertains to operations during April. Processing time 9 hours, inspection time 1.5 hours, waiting time 6 hours, and move time 7.5 hours. Units per batch 60 units. So asterisk mark is average time per batch. Compute the following operational measures: average non-value added time per batch, average value added time per batch, manufacturing cycle efficiency, manufacturing cycle time. So it is not to be understood that it is a problem on costing, but a problem related to costing. One moment. One moment. Okay, this may be the last problem for today. So because our car is likely to come a little earlier to pick us. Because firstly I was just thinking that the other gentleman will be picked and he will come to my house a little later. But my first pickup point is my point. So therefore we will limit to 8:45, and we'll keep this problem as the last problem. So let us understand that the amount of time, whatever they have given in this problem, has got no impact on costing. Is what as the impression we would be getting. Please understand that our activities are to be classified into 2 categories: value added activity and non-value added activity. So Opinion may differ from person to person in classifying value added and non-value added. There could be some item which some people might say as value added, some people might say as non-value added. If you have controversy in this, you can put it under gray area, where things can be resolved a little later. You don't have to just really worry about that. Gray area. So, for example, in examination conditions, when we recheck our answers that we have done, whether the time spent for rechecking can be considered as productive or non-productive. So, some people might say it is productive because any error that we have committed will get rectified. Another person might just say, when you have done really well at the very initial stage, this rechecking is going to be a waste of time, is what they may classify. So, such of those items where opinions are differing almost on equal basis, those items have to be taken up under gray area. But certain areas, both of them will agree as value added and non-value added. On that, there should not be any problem for anybody for that matter to take it up. In this particular problem, processing time 9 hours, that inspection time, waiting time, and move time. So definitely they are not productive, and possibly each of these items excepting processing time will be taken up under non-value added time per batch. Now that is the basis on which we will start working out this particular case. So answer for the first part of the question. Question number 5. 1 is average non-value added per batch is going to be 1.5 hours plus 6 hours plus 7.5 hours, which is equal to 15 hours. Average non-value added per batch. Item number 2. Average value added per batch. So one can take up the process time alone. Only process time is that. Third, manufacturing cycle efficiency. Manufacturing cycle efficiency on the total time of 24 hours. How that 24 you are getting? 9 divided by 9 plus 15. So that comes to 37.5 times of the total time. 37.5% of the times only we are utilizing for the purpose of manufacturing. So therefore 37.5 is the efficiency rate. Then item number 4, manufacturing cycle time. We have mentioned 60 units equal to 1 batch. 1 batch is equal to 24 hours. How come? 9 plus 15, don't consider in a day we are having 24 hours, not that. 9 plus 15, 24 hours. So therefore, you may consider 60 units equal to 24 hours. And therefore, 1 unit is equal to 24 divided by 60, which is equal to 0.4 hours per unit. This is the answer for that particular question. Manufacturing cycle time is 0.4 hours. So manufacturing cycle efficiency is 37.5% of the time only they are using for production purposes, and rest of which are non-value added activity. You can't avoid in certain cases you can avoid. Okay, so with that, we will just put an end for today's class. Today's class is also getting curtailed a little earlier, so something which is not within my control. So let me just tell you that we will have our old syllabus, linear programming, either this evening or tomorrow morning. We will take up. That will be definitely for minimum 2.5 hours, because one maximization problem itself will take so much of time, and that may go for 2 classes. Only then we will be in a position to have some discussion about interpretation of the final table of linear programming table, and that is going to be a potential question for old syllabus. Since LPP is also included in the new syllabus, so I would consider that all of you need to attend to that particular class, and the remaining problems that we have in the material, you please just try it with this. Okay, thank you.